afternoon, and thank you very much for being here. $1.6 billion in new taxes is simply a bad idea, especially if you combine $1.6 billion in taxes with hundreds of tax increases over a decade that the Democrats have delivered to the state of New Jersey. So, where are we going when Senator Sweeney and Speaker Prieto have ended reforms in the state of New Jersey? If you recall, just a short while ago, we were all on the same page. Making New Jersey more affordable, less taxes, no new taxes. Well, what's changed? What's changed is a fight within the Democratic ranks for a primary bid in the gubernatorial election a couple of years from now. So now what the Democrats have done, they've basically gone back to their old tools, which is raising taxes. Now, did they forget that we're ranked 49th in the country in terms of a bad business climate? We're 41 in terms of corporate tax. Individual taxes, we rank 48. Did they forget those numbers? This is the worst, and this is the worst policy you could put forward. So let me raise a couple issues. First, the last time the Democrats raised taxes, we lost 88,000 people and $5.5 billion in lost revenue, according to Region Atlantic's survey. So what could we do? We could start by adopting a resolution that is proposed by Assemblyman Parker Space and by Assemblywoman McCose, which says a constitutional amendment to allow the state legislature to determine how to fund the schools, not the courts. If they could untie our hands and allow us to fund schools based on success and fairness, and we could fund schools that are efficient and not follow a formula set by the Supreme Court, we could free up money that could go towards the budget and less opportunity for the Democrats to raise taxes. So we're here today to make it real simple. No more taxes. No new taxes. Not $1.6 billion. No new taxes in this state. We can't afford them. New Jersey's now going in the wrong direction under the leadership of both my friend Vinnie Prieto and Senator Sweeney. It's time to end this outrageous tax increase. I'm going to turn this over to the budget officer, Declan O'Scanlan.
Thank you, Leader. These massive broad-based tax increases being advocated by our friends on the other side of the aisle are suicidal to New Jersey, to New Jersey's economy. We would be inflicting upon ourselves down the road one of the worst economies in the country. One need look no further than the policies of the past 12 years. That's what got us to this place. We are already the highest tax state in the nation. If someone wants to quibble, maybe we're the second highest, but we also are one of the most broke. So it's obvious, you don't have to take our word for it, that these policies will not work, they have not worked, and they will make things worse, because that's what's happened over the past 12 years. The answer from our friends on the other side of the aisle over and over and over again has been higher taxes, has been more of your money in their pockets, rather than to figure out a way to spend the money we're already giving them more wisely. This also completely blows the doors off the credibility of our friends on the other side of the aisle over the past 4 years when they've spoken about job creation and any concern they have for job creation. This will kill jobs, there's no question. For those people that we're also playing the economic warfare game, the class warfare game, who say, well, this isn't going to affect me, I don't make that kind of money. Well, first off, and no reporter should ever use the term millionaires tax again, because none of these taxes are just on millionaires. Some of the parts of this package go all the way down to $350,000. If you're a resident who says, well, I don't even make that, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Your employer makes that. The person in charge of your job, and they don't have a lot of options. They can't just flip a switch and change their rent amount. their utility costs, et cetera. Where do they have the most flexibility? Your job. Your job will go, additional jobs will be created, you will get less frequent raises or they'll be smaller. These policies will take this almost $2 billion out of the hide of every single person in New Jersey. We need to stand against it, unified, and Republicans in the Assembly certainly will. Thank you.
We're going to open this for questions. Before we do that, let me make this as clear as possible. If you were a business that had trouble selling widgets and you had economic problems within your company and you weren't competitive, you wouldn't raise the price of the widgets. Well, that's what they're doing. They're raising the price of living in New Jersey, which is counterintuitive as to what rational, common sense people would do. This is a play to a specific constituency, not a play to the average taxpayers. On that, we are standing united as the Republican Assembly Caucus, and we're going to remind the voters in 2015, in November of 2015, when we're on top of the ballot, that the Democrats had their chance and they can reassemble the assemblies. Members are willing to take questions. Oh, so you think it's a done deal because we
So, job creation over the last year. New Jersey is the only state in the country to have lost private sector jobs. Why not go in a different direction?
If you had the Democrats setting your agenda for the past decade and trend, raising taxes, making it more difficult to do business because of high regulation, you'd have a tough time getting out of that hole also. This is a question of whether or not the Democrats are going to continue with reforms, which they haven't done. And we can give you, it's like chapter and verse of all the reforms they didn't do, which would make it easier to do business in the state of New Jersey.
Regardless of your position on our our job creation record over the past year, there is no argument anywhere on the planet that increasing taxes on job creators is going to create more jobs. You're only going to make things worse. There's no question that that's the case. This is not going to enhance anyone's interest in creating jobs here. We are going to be driving away the very people that would be creating jobs, encouraging them to create jobs and create businesses and expand businesses other places. We are going to strangle the geese whose golden eggs we all count on to pay the bills in New Jersey. It's bad policy.
I mean, if I could just add one thing, because it comes to mind, is that in the 1990s, when the Republicans led this state government, we had significant private sector job creation. During the first decade of the 2000s, we had significant tax increases and significant losses in private sector job creation. In the first 4 years of the Christie administration, there was a great change in direction, no new taxes, and private sector job growth. You can't look at it month to month or even 1 year over, but look at the decades, the last 20 years, and watch how the private sector job growth was affected by the tax increases in the 2000s versus the 1990s.
How can you be the highest tax state in the region and then raise taxes? I don't get it. I don't get the plan. It's a bad plan, and it's dangerous to New Jersey.